microbiome, and I'll be moderating our conversation today. We're very fortunate to be joined by Dr. Chris Callewaert. He is a leading researcher whose groundbreaking work has changed how we understand the link between our skin, our microbiome, clothing, and body odor. His studies have been featured widely, and he collaborates closely with both academia and industry. Chris, thanks so much for having you with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with the basics. Chris, can you perhaps explain in simple terms what is the skin microbiome and why does it matter when it comes to body odor and our overall health and well-being?
The microbiome, I think most of us know what the microbiome is, but I can recapitulate, is the trillions of bacteria, fungi, viruses, even microeukaryotes like mites that are living on our skin, in our skin, and are living in harmony with our skin. They are generally commensal. They keep our immune system in check. They break down sebum. They produce antimicrobial peptides. They keep themselves in check, and they're basically keep pathogens and things that harm us away from us. So they acidify our skin as well. So they're actually quite critical for our skin and well-being. And there's actually a recent study that I want to talk about that they correlated skin microbiome and well-being, and they found that certain microbes actually make you feel better. So indeed, microbiome, your skin microbiome, also makes you feel good. That's also what we found in our study. If you have certain microbes that cause body odor, your quality of life is lower. So it has a big impact on our mental health as well.
Fascinating that they were able to really create that link also to our mental well-being. Now, your topic and research of choice is very much body odor. And in your research, you say that it's not actually caused by sweat, but caused by the microbes that are present. Can you walk us through how that actually works?
There's two reasons why we smell, and it's sweat and bacteria. If you look in literature, they always say sweat that is sterile doesn't smell bad. It's the bacteria that's converted and eat it up for breakfast and break it down into smaller particles. Then that can have an odor. And depending on which bacteria you have, that odor can be good, neutral, or bad. Sweat also has an impact. There's also something like systemic odor, which comes from inside out, which is very much driven by hormones and by metabolism. But the two really go hand in hand. You really need the microbes that convert the sweat into small molecules in order for it to have an odor. The two really go hand in hand with each other.
All right. So, are you able to perhaps touch upon a little bit on why you came about the topic of body odor and the microbiome? Share a little bit about your background and perhaps the interests and activities that you're following right now.
How I got into it is serendipity. It's a pure coincidence. I was ending my studies at the university, and I never had body odor. And then after, I can say it, after a one-night stand, I picked up body odor. So I knew it was something to do with bacteria. I picked up bacteria which are not mine, and they were suddenly mine. They made them. It became part of my microbiome, and I couldn't get rid of it. So I was personally really invested into finding a solution. And then I pitched the idea to my professor. I said, okay, if it's possible in a bad way, it should also be possible in a good way. So I wanted to do transplantations in order to get a good scent again. And I fixed it for myself, and I started fixing it for many other people too. So that's a bit where I came from. And what I do is really body odor. So looking at what microbes are causing body odor, how can you alter the microbiome to resolve body odor? How can you alter the sweats even to resolve body odor? Body odor in textiles as well. What is the origin of that? What is the problem there? Permosting textiles, we'll probably talk about that as well. I'll investigate also indigenous skin because they don't have any body odor. They don't have any, even barely have wrinkles or gray hair. They have very pure and natural looking skin. And their skin microbiome is also vastly different than our Western skin microbiome, much less Cutibacteria, for instance. I'll also look at mosquito attraction, look at skin microbiome, skin metabolome in health and disease, essentially. That's what I do.
Thanks for that small recap. Obviously, it doesn't cover all the activities that you're doing, but I do know that you are also engaged in kind of a spin-off and a startup. When we look at the world of textiles and body odor, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do when it comes to textiles and body odor, and perhaps the company that you founded?
Yeah. So we found ways. I mean, we found what is the origin of body odor, and we also found a way to resolve it. We've done clinical trials. We found good microbes that can counteract body odor, both on skin and on textiles. So we created a spin-off that the patents from the university have been transferred into the spin-off. It's called Fiome, fiome.com, Future Biome. And we make probiotic deodorants and we make probiotic textiles, basically tackling those two things, because our angle and our know-how is really body odor. We can, people from all over the world are reaching out to us. I have many people from Japan also, because there it's a very big taboo, and only a small fraction of the population has the problem there, because there's a genetic compound as well that 70% of the population has, that makes that they don't have body odor, but that makes that 30% of the population is prone to having body odor. It depends on the microbiome, and for them it's a huge taboo. It's a big taboo here as well. So yeah, people from all over the world are seeking solutions, and that's really our angle. That's where we want to make the difference, and we try to do that by making probiotic deodorants and also probiotic textiles.
All right, amazing. You've really done pioneering work when it comes to clothing and textiles affecting the skin microbiome. What are the most surprising findings that you've uncovered and perhaps translated towards the work that you do at Fiome?
Well, one surprising thing, which is probably not so surprising, is that washing doesn't sterilize the textiles. There's many bacteria that are surviving the wash process. You would think, yeah, you just throw it in the washing machine, case closed, and it comes out clean, spick and span, no problem anymore. Not at all. We found, okay, it reduces a bit of odor, but it does not reduce the microbial loads. There's many living bacteria surviving and even transferring among the dirty laundry in the washing machine, and even from the washing machine into your laundry, and even from the worn textiles to unworn textiles. So there's a big mix-up going on in the washing machine, which is important. And the change came a bit in the 90s, where we switched from chemical-based detergents with bleach and from washing at 60 degrees and higher, at higher temperatures. And then suddenly we wanted to have more eco-friendly conditions, so washing at 30 or 40 degrees Celsius, enzyme-based technology, liquid detergents. So it's a whole, the big shift came then, and also I think the big shift in odor came also then, because our washing machine doesn't get cleaned anymore inside. 30, 40 degrees is ideal circumstances for bacteria to survive and even grow. And I think many washing machines have internal biofilms that are just very stubborn, and they're constantly there. And if you don't get your laundry out in due time, it will get smelly again in the morning. So and that's due to the washing machine. So it doesn't sterilize the clothes. And another interesting thing is also the type of clothing is also important. So cotton versus polyester, for instance, we see a big difference there. Cotton is a natural fiber. It can absorb water very well. It does not attach really well the lipids and the sebum, for instance, while polyester is an apolar molecule. It attracts the lipid molecules as well, and it also attracts those lipid living bacteria as well. So we see a differential microbiome, and our findings saw that polyester is way more smelly than cotton, for instance, after workout.
Yeah. So you touch upon various topics that influence the odor of textile, the textile microbiome, as it actually is impacted by the laundry as well. If we make it very concrete for companies creating products that are working for or with the human microbiome, what would you advise them to do? Is there some takeaway that can be easily adopted?
The microbiome is super important. We're still investigating what is now really the etiology of permastink, where does it all come from? But we know that a big impact is the washing machine, biofilm-forming bacteria that are transferring to the laundry and are causing musty odors there. Even the unworn shirts, they pick up those bacteria and those odor molecules as well. You don't even wear them and they develop permastink. So it's that easy. You don't even have to wear them. Of course, wearing has an impact, but even unworn shirts develop permastink after 10 or 15 wear wash cycles.
Yeah.
That's I was not expecting that. I was really more expecting, okay, permastink is really on their underarms. It comes from there, but even your shoulders, all the parts of the textiles, they develop permastink, and it really comes from the washing machine. So yeah, your detergents can impact that a bit. We see that eco-friendly versus the harsh chemical detergent. We see differences in microbiome there as well. So you can try to steer it a bit, but it's a difficult and complex answer to unravel still.
Yeah, yeah.
But the microbiome is the golden line in the whole story.
But would you say a different person, for example, where and they're using the same washing machine, would they develop also permastink in both of the t-shirts if it's two different people? Because, or is it the interaction of that individual person with the textile itself and the equivalent of the laundry?
I mean, it's usually we took samples from households, so it's not just one person living there, but it's a whole household. They usually have children, they have a partner, cats, dogs in the house. So there's constant interaction, of course. But yeah, it's even without the wearing, it can develop permastink, and it's really probably also related to the age of your washing machine and how you maintain that washing machine. Because actually the washing machine producer advises every 10 laundry washes to do maintenance wash, to do at a high temperature, to really rinse it out, add some detergents and add some disinfectants in there. At 90 degrees, let it run empty, so it can, boil out a bit all the remaining odors and bacteria. But who does that? Yeah.
So it's still a big field that has to be kind of discovered. Are you saying that, or do we like, what should consumers take away from this? How could we change about these laundry practices? Is it something that we can already do?
Do a maintenance wash. So every 10 times or like once per month, you need to wash let your laundry machine run empty on 90 degrees or on boiler program with some detergent with some disinfectants in there, so it can clean out. The choice of detergents is also important. Yeah. For whitewash, there's still bleaching agents in there, and bleaching agents can also decrease the microbial load in the washing machine as well. That as well has an impact. But then again, the more disinfectants you add to your laundry machine, the more stress tolerant, the more pathogenic, and the more virulence factors the microbiome will carry. So it's really a catch-22. It has an impact on the microbiome and on, because we are facing a big problem in multi-resistant bacteria. Now we know about the hospital-acquired MRSA, Staph aureus, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, but there's a whole bunch more, and it will be gram-negative bacteria that will become multi-resistant.
Yeah.
The amount of antibiotics that we have is ending. We only have a couple of classes, and there's no new classes being invented. So we will reach a point that there will be lots of multi-resistant bacteria, and yeah, you can throw at it whatever you want, but they will still be there. I even have a friend that got affected by such a multi-drug resistant bacteria. After a night out, he got this bacteria in his lung, a flesh-eating bacteria, and he was in a coma for a month. I mean, fortunately, he recovered, but yeah, I mean, he could have been gone. Yeah, it's really, yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. So it really
He
sounds
recovered, so
like there's a lot of pressure and research needed to actually solve these real life problems. I also, you mentioned bleach, for example, or things to impact the bacteria growth on textiles. And you also had a recent study published on silver impregnated textiles. Maybe we can look a little bit into that topic for the moment, where it's a common practice to cope with malodor. Can you share perhaps the key findings of this research?
Yeah, so silver is one of the most widely used antimicrobial agents on textiles, next to quartz, for instance. And we did a big study on that. We got a whole bunch of t-shirts with silver impregnated and the exact same t-shirts without silver impregnated. We've done that study in San Diego. A whole bunch of participants entered the study. So they did a washout phase, and then they wore the silver shirts, then a non-silver shirt, then again the silver shirt. And we collected microbiome metabolome. And what we found is that actually, while wearing that silver impregnated shirts, you would think that you will kill bacteria, and it probably does. But as a reaction, the microbiome creates biofilms, and we saw more bacteria on skin during the silver phase than in the non-silver phase. So that was completely unexpected. And it's as a reaction, the bacteria basically react to that. Okay, there's a certain level of antimicrobial toxicity there. We will react by producing EPS biofilms so we can withstand that. And we saw more bacteria on skin. The people said, okay, the shirt feels more slick, so more slimy, slick on the skin. Some people developed acne. We saw also more cutibacteria on their upper back. And what we also saw is that sebum that is produced a lot on the upper back is broken down in a different way. So we saw a lot of monounsaturated fatty acids. So it has an impact on the types of molecules that are produced there, which is the sebum will be part of the acid mantle, the healthy acid mantle. But if it's broken down in a different way, the microbiome has a big impact in producing molecules and small molecules that are protective for our skin. And if they're no longer produced, that has an impact, of course. So,
So what does this mean when we wear antimicrobial textiles that are actually impregnated with silver for us as humans? What does that mean if you know regarding the key findings of this research?
I would not do it. I would not advise it at all. And I've spoken to many dermatologists as well. They say, okay, yeah, people that have eczema, for instance, in the genital region, there's also a high concentration silver impregnated underwear. And the first week it works really like a charm. The eczema goes away, no problem at all. But then after the second week, it just comes back as a boomerang, much worse as before, because the microbiome adapted, and suddenly you don't have 100 microbes there, but just like 10 or a few microbes that are super resistant towards it and super adapted to it, and it just comes like a boomerang back, and then it's even more difficult to treat. So I would not advise it. There's other solutions to tackle eczema rather than using that. And plus, yeah, people wear it like as a yoga pants or as a workout shirt. But there's other solutions too. You can choose other fiber types. It's just generally we have 1 trillion bacteria on our skin. Killing them is just futile. They will come back, and you better have the good ones there rather than the bad ones. So yeah.
So what we do at My Microbiome obviously is testing various products from textiles to cosmetics and seeing if they're micro-friendly for the skin. Now, if we look at silver impregnated textiles and antimicrobial compounds in general, we do also see that in the lab, that when we test these fabrics that are being sent to us by our clients, it just kills everything off. What would you believe is the right solution for people that still have this idea of antimicrobial, getting rid of bacteria? How do we move towards this more microbiome-friendly realm? Also considering the probiotics that you perhaps are looking at in Fiome, your company.
I think what is a good solution, the good alternative, providing a good alternative, because is of course crucial. People still associate microbes with bad, with disease and whatnot. Although I think the last decades, the ideas has changed a lot now. People know that the microbiome is important, that is crucial for our health, that we need them as well. I think specifically this audience 100% knows it, but it's Joe in the streets that probably doesn't know it. And he sees an advertisement on TV, kills 99.9 bacteria, and he will buy it. So for certain, like for certain applications, that's still good for to disinfect a wound or something. But for daily applications, even your deodorant, I wouldn't advise it. For your t-shirts, I mean, I wouldn't advise it at all. We need our microbes, and I think education is part of it, but also valuable alternatives are crucial. European legislation is also helping because they're banning triclosan and certain molecules. There's a certain in due time silver will also be banned by Europe. So European legislation is also helping a hand to steer in the right directions.
So what is your perspective on the potential of prebiotics, probiotics, or even postbiotics? We hear about that a lot also in the cosmetics industry. When it comes to personal care or even textiles, do you see that as like a true game changer, or is that more of a hype?
I always make the comparison, often make a comparison with the 90s. There was a big hype around vitamins. Vitamins is important. It was all over TV. Take your vitamin pills, take your vitamin drinks, whatnot. Vitamin water. Vitamins are important. It's not such a hype anymore, but still there, right? Up on today, we know that vitamins are important, and we need our vitamins in our food. We need our vitamins on our skin, on our everywhere. Vitamins are still important. The microbiome 20 years ago, nobody talked about it, nobody knew what it was, and they all wanted that. Now we know that it has been quite the hype in the last decade, which is good. I think we're a bit, I mean, now the times, the political times have changed a bit, but it's still super important. What we miss is is a little bit a breakthrough product that says, okay, this will solve all the. There have been trying to make solutions for acne, for eczema, for whatnot, but you always have the immune impact as well. So it's multifactorial. It's not just the microbiome, it's also a human immune system, which is an interplay with that. So the breakthrough product is missing still a bit, but still the red line is the microbiome in everything. The gut-skin axis. It's super important. The microbiome is like the silver lining. And it's here to stay. There's no way around it. I mean, we know that microbes is super important. If you have the wrong microbes, your skin will be red or inflamed or irritated. They just react to it, and it's here to stay no matter how we want it. But what is still missing a bit is a breakthrough product, and we hope with Phyom we can offer that, because for me body odor is there's one big impact, and that's the microbiome. So
we're talking a lot about microbiome friendly products, perhaps doing a little bit less as well, so less harm to the microbiome with killing the bacteria with antimicrobials, etc. Do you think the consumer is actually ready for the less is more approach, like that it really adapts to John on the street as well, and not just people that are experts? Are we ready for this?
I think we are definitely here in Europe. What I did notice is Americans are not ready. In Europe, every big cosmetic brand, they work on the microbiome friendly. Because maybe in Europe we're more educated. The microbiome is super important, and they incorporate it into their products, which is a very positive trend. We need that to happen. In America, when I went to the Congress there, nobody was talking, or you had to search really long to find anything related to the microbiome. There was more focused on advertisements and the whole body deodorants came out, killing more bacteria everywhere on the body. Microbiome friendly was not such a big thing, but yeah, they're gonna lag behind. And due to politics, it's gonna lag behind a bit. But I think Europe is doing the right thing, and then here in Europe we are aware of that importance, and the big cosmetic brands are also incorporating that. The textile market, it's also a bit lagging behind, I think, because there the pricing is super important. It all cannot cost anything. They want it, okay, yeah, cool. But I have this, I need to compare it to silver, and silver costs 2 times nothing. So yeah, pricing is super important. But yeah, with our
And
probiotic textiles, we need to ferment them, we need to lyophilize them, we need to, it comes with a cost. So it's of course going to be more expensive than silver. But yeah.
Future challenges indeed, especially in innovation when it comes to textiles, creating something that is commercially viable is very tricky. But Chris, as we begin to kind of wrap up and open our Q&A, I'd just like to have one more concrete question that I'd like to ask you. If you had like a message for the R&D teams working in beauty and textile companies when it comes to deodorants or creating textile products, what would you want them to know or do differently starting today?
Specifically for textiles, the microbiome is super important. So there was a question that I saw popping up. Permastink, is that the real word? Yes, that is the real word. It's super. It's used a lot in industry. It's permastink. It permanently stinks. Even if you wash your shirts, this odor is still there, and we saw that as well. The biofilms are still there. You can see them under a microscope. The molecules are still produced, still musty odor. If you wash it, the odor will be reduced, but the microbes are still there. And they're just biofilm forming bacteria that transfer a lot from the washing machine into the textiles that are just persistently there and stubbornly there and hard to remove. So the microbiome is important. Also, which fiber is also important, because synthetic versus natural cotton, natural fibers also makes a difference. So making the right blends, making the right finishes of your textile is also super important. So I think we're at the beginning of a lot of nice innovation. Our probiotic textiles can help because we make a nice finishing under the underarm, and we locally can resolve body odor very, very nicely. Even after a big workout, the underarms shirts will not smell anymore. So there can be very fancy and straightforward solutions that probably also don't cost a lot. But the microbiome is super important. Which microbes are there? Not necessarily how much bacteria. Of course, the load of bacteria is also important, but the types of bacteria is really crucial. We always see the same bacteria coming back that are causing those musty odors, and it's those biofilm forming gram-negative bacteria that are commonly also present in biofilms in laundry machines.
Yeah, thanks so much for highlighting the work that you've been doing over the years. You've been a true inspiration, I know, for many in this field, because it's such a niche and specified area of research. And I hope that also the audience today had been feeling inspired. And now I would really like to open up the questions for everyone that is in our audience. And let me just say, take this opportunity to speak with Chris today. It's very rare to be able to have such an exchange. And you can either put it in the question box or the chat if you'd like. You can also hold up your hand and we'll bring you forward. That's fine as well. So let me hear what you would like to know. And it can be in the realm of textiles, body odor, and obviously the work that Chris has been doing. I know that perhaps I see a hand here. So Lucy, thank you so much.
Hi, that was fantastic. Very interesting. Really enjoyed listening to your research and what you've been working on. I'm also working in a company that develops non-biocidal antimicrobial textile coatings. And I'm just
Nice.
really curious as to how you're getting on with making claims about what your products do, particularly the textiles, without falling foul of the biocidal products register and then telling you that if you're not a biocide, you can't say these things. But you know, not being a biocide is also, of course, a positive thing, and it's a really strange catch-22 situation.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the textile industry is so strict on this. You would even say it's probiotics. Yeah, it's also antimicrobial. It falls under the biocidal law, which is complete utter bullshit. You would do the exact opposite of killing bacteria.
Yeah.
But they're so strict, and I have to say it's a bit retarded.
It's really backwards.
The industry is so much behind. It's really like they work with these tests on isofluric acids. We now we're on the point that we need to invent new tests on naphthalene, on indoles, because those are really more important odors on malodors on textiles, and not so much the isofluric acid and the ammonia. I mean, God forbid, fucking ammonia. There's such retarded tests out there. So we hope as well. We work together with AIC to make new tests, new ISO tests. But there's a long way to go in the textile industry to reform that, and we can't do it all, of course. But indeed, yeah, it's a bit of claiming the things that we can claim. I know for a fact that we are not antimicrobial. We're by definition the exact opposite. But some would actually argue that we are that we fall under the biocide law, because you would change the microbe, and then that falls under the biocide law.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't have the exact answer for it, but it's a good point that you raise there. That's they need some education too.
Yeah. Well, if you want to have anyone fighting with you on that, then let me know, because it's a bit of
we should team up. Yeah, we should definitely team up, because it's
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's the right word. Yeah.
And it just supports the use of these toxic chemicals. The list exists to manage toxic, non-sustainable chemicals, and yet all it does is, once you're on that list, companies are creating whole businesses around growth of using these chemicals more and more and more. Yeah. So it's frustrating. Anyway, I really enjoyed listening to you today, so thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your question, Lucy. And I see that Christine has asked in the chat, how about controlling the microbiome? And she thinks it's a great idea for pioneers to team up. Perhaps, Christine, do you want to elaborate? Or perhaps she might not be available.
Hi, sorry, I have to. So I've tried to find the buttons. I'm on my way to the airplane, so that's why I'm a little bit. Yeah.
What's your name?
Christine Neumann.
Okay.
Okay. Police asked me for my name. So a bit scary. Okay, I look like a terrorist, maybe. Okay, so yeah, I was just thinking about the claims, and is it possible to, or did you try or think about using the kind of like controlling the microbiome, not disturbing, like, yeah, I know we have to be really careful with the claims, to not go into one direction, to make too much of the microbiome, which is difficult. But on the other hand, as you said, for the biocidal, if like something like that is very cautious but meaningful, like, yeah, controlling. Did you think about that, or did you try this?
Or how to control? I mean, yeah, that's the golden question, of course. How to control
just
everything.
claim controlling the microbiome,
yeah,
without going any further, but just kind of telling the story that via the microbiome, via controlling it makes things better, but you don't say it makes things better. Like,
yeah, that's where the probiotics, prebiotic, postbiotics come in. They can really steer in the right direction, directly, indirectly, or metabolites. They can help to adjust the microbiome and nudging it in the right direction without necessarily killing it. So I think that has a lot of potential going forward. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's very tricky just to find the right words, but I'm happy to like work with you on, I discussed with your colleague Rosie just last week about this. I think it would be really helpful to really dig deep and think about words that are meaningful and can be used
True. Yeah.
that is accepted by regulatory.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I see that the cosmetic market is always really inventive on because they cannot say we have a product against acne. You cannot say we have a product against eczema. Then they say, oh, acne prone skin. Just walking around it, and that's probably what we need to do in the textile industry as well. Like indicating what it is, but walking around while not saying exactly what it is. Yeah, I think the answer is really into the claims, because I mean, we cannot say that probiotics are antimicrobial. It's really claiming finding the right words to say what you're doing without saying that it kills or even modifies the microbiome. What we do is just adding microbes. So yeah.
All right. Thanks for that elaboration, Chris. I see that Mirko also has a question. Would you be able to unmute? Yeah.
I will try to do. Hi, Chris. Good to see
Hello.
you back on this way. Hope you're fine, and greetings
Absolutely.
to the rest. Thanks for the inspiring talk. I was very curious on that the insight you're sharing, that Asian, or you said Japanese people, that there's a genetic component included, and especially for those not being affected, the taboo of body odor is a extreme one. How does this fit out, this genetic component, that with the fact that at least at the end, bacteria mainly are responsible for body odor, respectively textile odor?
So
you have any explanation, or
yeah,
making me curious, both ends of the information at the end.
So it's basically the human gene ABCC11 gene that encodes for which type of apocrine sweat you have, and it also relates to the type of earwax we have. So if it's, I'm quickly looking here, if it's Caucasian, we probably have yellow but liquid earwax, and that encodes for the normal apocrine sweats, because earwax is a special form of apocrine sweat. But Asians, Southeast Asians, 100% of Koreans, 70% of the Japanese people, and a lot of people in China and Southeast Asia have a mutation, and they say it comes from the Emperor Genghis Khan. He had a lot of descendants, and he had that mutation and passed it on to all his descendants. They basically have a mutation of that ABCC11 gene, which encodes for white, dry, and flaky earwax. So it's basically not liquids. And then the underarm apocrine sweats, and also the anogenital region, is that apocrine sweat is different and cannot or differently be broken down by the microbes. So they also have Corynebacteria, Anaerococcus planifolus in their underarms, but it's not necessarily produced into musty, sour body odor, because the precursors are not there or cannot be converted. And I was speaking to that on the EADV Congress last week in Paris, and to a Chinese colleague, and they say, indeed, in China, it's harder to find a deodorant there. You can find it, and people do tend to use it, but not as much as here. And it's just more harder to find there. Okay, advertisements have caught up, and you find it there. But in fact, people don't really need it, or need it much less. But in fact, in Japan, the example that I had there, and certainly in China, I had a roommate in America. He was also half Chinese, and he said the taboo in China is humongous. And people don't want to have friends that have body odor. They don't want to hang out with them. They don't want to sit next to them in school. They don't want to work with them. They don't want to marry them. They don't want to. And there's such a big stigma. I mean, it's just completely, they put those people in complete isolation. They would do anything to get rid of it. And for instance, Japan is the only country in the world that you can, from the insurance, you can get your treatment paid back by the insurance to solve body odor. So like Botox treatments or the Mira dry treatments is paid back by the insurance in Japan. That's the only country in the world.
Yeah, thanks for the insight. And that's as well linked to that you describe that, not distinguished, but said that textile order could have had different sources, of course, no, directly from us as human beings, and vice versa, a bit as well driven by residues from the machine. Let me say it like this, and this is then as well inhibit, or
we can now say that
if it is a kind of different, this is not harsh, sticky odor from apocrine sweat. So that's the main difference, I would assume.
So underarm sweat and underarm bacteria have an impact on odor development on textiles, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the real impact on permastink clothes, on developing malodor on textiles, is really the washing machine and the biofilm forming bacteria in the washing machine. We see that completely shifts the microbiome, and it leads towards a lot of those typical musty odors. A big impact comes from the washing machine. Even unworn textiles develop permastink simply because they're washed in there. They're not even worn, so that is a perfect answer towards, you don't even have to wear it, and then it already develops odor. So really, the washing machine has a huge impact, and so even in the east in China and Japan, they also have the problem of permastink textiles. There, specifically Southeast Asia, where they have muson rains and the humid conditions, the drying part needs to be dried very efficiently, and the longer the drying takes, the more bacteria you have growing on your textile, and the more odor it develops. So drying is also crucial. They also have permastink textiles there, but the origin is not so much related to apocrine sweats, but more towards the drying and the washing machine then.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks a lot for sharing. Fits to the insights from 3 weeks traveling in China this summer. There is, of course, some body odor and things. Thanks a lot for sharing. Good to see you. Thanks a lot for the organization.
Likewise.
Thanks for the question, Mirko. I see we also have another hand up, and considering the time, we have 2 more minutes. So Amjadi, if you would like to share your question with us. Your hand is up at the moment. You can unmute yourself. Hedi, perhaps you are able to unmute Amjadi. Seems like perhaps he is not here anymore. Okay. Then if that has been the case, Amjadi, if you'd like to write it in the chat, that's also fine. Otherwise, I would like to conclude today's webinar, and I really enjoyed speaking to you, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and the insights of what is happening in this fascinating field, and for really advancing this industry forward when it comes to the skin microbiome, textiles, and body odors. Thank you to the audience. It was very beautiful that you all came, and please spread the word. We're happy to share also this webinar with everyone that was attending today. Share it with a friend that might find this inspiring, to really get this idea and concept further. And with that, I really send you all a very nice, and I wish you all a very nice evening.
Thanks for moderating, Sarah. You did a great job.
Thanks, Chris, and speak to you soon.
Have a good day, everybody. Ciao,
Goodbye.
ciao.